Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fikri Muhammad Nazri. Today our group will present about Ar-Rahn. Ar-Rahn is a financial product based on Islamic finance principle of Qard al-Hassan and Rahnu. It is a form of Islamic pawnbroking or collateralized lending commonly offered in some Islamic financial institutions, particularly in Malaysia and other Muslim majority countries. Okay, next is the principles of Ar-Rahn. The first is no interest or riba, which is loans are interest free, aligning with Islamic finance principles. Second is collateral, which is borrowers provide valuable assets such as gold as security held by the lender. Next is safekeeping, which is the lender ensures secure storage of collateral during the loan period. Then it is the ownership. Borrowers retain ownership of the collateral. Possession is for security purposes. Next is transparency, which is clear and transparent terms are emphasized following Islamic ethical guidelines. And lastly is repayment. Borrowers repay the loan within a specified period to reclaim their collateral. Okay, next is the mechanisms of Ar-Rahn. The first one is collateral submission. Borrowers provide valuable assets, typically gold or jewelry, as collateral. Then valuation. The lender assesses the collateral's value to determine the loan amount. Next is loan approval. Based on the collateral value, the lender approves the loan amount. And then documentation. Both parties sign an agreement detailing loan terms and conditions. Fifth is safekeeping. The lender securely stores the collateral during the loan period. And then the number 6 is no interest charges. Ar-Rahn prohibits interest charging service fees instead. Number 7 is loan repayment. Borrowers must repay the principal amount within a specified period. Number 8 is collateral redemption. Upon full repayment, borrowers reclaim their collateral. Number 9 is ownership retention. The lender recognizes the borrower's ownership despite possessing the collateral. Number 10 is transparency, which is clear communication of term ensures mutual understanding. And lastly is default handling. In case of non-repayment, the lender may sell the collateral, returning any surplus to the borrower. That's all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Imran bin Azman and now I will present about application of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq. Okay, back in 2019, most Ar-Rahn services in Malaysia are using Ar-Rahn card combined with Al-Wadi'ah Yadamamah. This method are used by taking customer asset like gold, land or any other valuable things as a collateral. The asset will be evaluated and they will offer 70% of the value of the asset based on market price to be given as loan. The loaner then will charge the loanee ujrah or fee for helping to keep the collateral at their place. After the loan has been paid, the customer will be given back their asset fully. If the customer fail to pay the debt, the asset will be put into the auction and the extra money from the sale from the auction will be returned back to the customer. In 2020, there were a new product introduced which is Ar-Rahn Tawarruq. This is due to Ar-Rahn service provider cannot compete with conventional pawn services and some issue that may be seen as non-Sharia compliance. This is because the usage of Al-Qad risen up the question of Qad Jarra Naf'an, a loan that give manfaah to the loaner, and buy wa salaf, combining of buy and sell contract with loan which is prohibited in Sharia. Okay, as we can see here, Tawarruq is referred to a transaction between two contract of buy and sell. The customer, who is the loanee, will come to the bank and told them that he want to make a loan. After he told them that he want to make a loan, the bank will contact with broker A to buy some commodities. After bank have buy some commodities from broker A, they will sell to the customer through murabahah. Murabahah means that they will tell the customer the original price and the markup price that they will take from the commodities that they will sell to the customer. The transaction will be on by bitaman ajil, where the customer will pay in installment. The next step is the bank will be the representative for the customer to sell back the commodities to broker B. The bank will sell the commodities to broker B at the original price by cash. By doing this, the bank will receive revenue by marking up the price of the commodity and not marking up the money, because money is a ribawi item. For Ar-Rahn Tawarruq, the asset will be the collateral for the installment payment for the commodity. The asset will act as security for the loaner as a sense of giving trust for them that they will be able to pay the money back. The customer are still allowed to use the asset and collect profit from the asset. This way, there is no loan involved in the transaction. This product has been started being used by Yayasan Pembangunan Ekonomi Islam Malaysia (YAPIM) on February 2020. Okay, now let's move on to the advantages and challenges of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq. The first advantages of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is it complied with Sharia. Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is designed to align with the principle of Islamic finance. It is free from riba and it is adhering to the ethical guidelines outlined by Sharia. Consequently, it emerged as a favored option for individual and business seeking financial in harmony with Islamic values. Customers did not need to feel worried whether their source of money is halal or haram. The next advantages of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is it has a transparent profit structure. Ar-Rahn Tawarruq disclose their profit structure to the customer clearly. Both the cost and profit margin are disclosed upfront to the customer, fostering trust and transparency in financial transaction. This gives the sense of trust to the customer to do transaction with them. The other advantages of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is it gives higher profit to the agency to compete with conventional bonds. The profit markup price from selling the commodity gives the same profit received with conventional bond, which give advantage for them to compete. This may help Islamic economy as the agency will pay zakat to the communities. Now let's move on to the challenges. The first challenge of doing Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is to explain this process to the customer. The structure of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is very complicated. Customer and even certain financial practitioners might encounter difficulty in understanding the detailed working of this financial product. It may cause some misunderstanding during the explanation. To overcome these challenges, the agency need to hire Sharia advisor to give the right explanation to the customer. The next challenge that associated with Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is limited asset type. The association of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq with gold is common. However, broadening its application to other asset classes could present challenge given the diverse market dynamic and valuation methodology associated with different type of asset. To overcome this challenge, they will need to limit the asset type that is accepted and review the other asset for future reference. The other challenge that associated with Ar-Rahn Tawarruq is to ensure commodities ownership by the customer. There should be a documentation that shows that the transfer of ownership of the commodity have gone through. To overcome this challenge, the agency will create Bursa Malaysia account for the customer and buy the commodities through Bursa Marketplace to be proof of evidence of the commodities ownership. Now I will pass to the next presenter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Najim Rahim. My part is I would like to talk about the legal, ethical consideration and also about the comparative analysis.
The integration of Ar-Rahn
with Al-Tawarruq in Islamic finance has ignited significant discussion and debates surrounding its legal and ethical implications. This combination involves using an asset as a collateral in a conjunction with a finance technique where an individual purchase an asset on a deferred payment and promptly sell it on the spot price. Here we are exploring the legal and ethical consideration associated with this hybrid approach within the Islamic finance community. So firstly, the adherence to Sharia principle is a fundamental legal considerations. Critics argue that the incorporations of the Al-Tawarruq into Ar-Rahn may give a rise to a transaction that resembles an interest-bearing loans contravening Islamic finance principle that prohibited usury. This raises legal questions about the compatibility of such transactions with the core tenets of the Sharia. Secondly, the intent and purpose behind the transactions play a crucial role in both legal and ethical assessments. If the primary motive behind the combining Ar-Rahn and Al-Tawarruq is to achieve the gains similar to those from the interest based on the loans, it may be viewed unfavorable from the legal standpoint. Ethically, financial transaction in Islamic finance should be motivated by the principles of justice, fairness, and also the mutual benefits. And any deviations from this principle may raise ethical concerns. The lack of tangibility in the underlying asset is another legal and ethical considerations. Critics argue that the Al-Tawarruq technique, when coupled with Ar-Rahn, may result in a lack of tangible assets in the transactions. From a legal perspective, this raises questions about the nature of the transactions and its adherence to established norms. Ethically, transparency and fairness in financial dealings are core principles in Islamic finance, and any precise deviations from these principles may pose ethical challenges. Consistency and uniformity in the application of Al-Tawarruq within the Ar-Rahn transaction are essential legal and ethical considerations. Inconsistencies in interpretations and application across different jurisdictions of institutions may lead to legal challenges and ethical concerns about fairness and equal treatment within the Islamic finance framework. Regulatory compliance is a critical aspect from the both legal and ethical perspective. The legal landscape surrounding Islamic finance varies across jurisdictions, and the combined use of Ar-Rahn and Al-Tawarruq may face the regulatory scrutiny. Ensuring the compliance with the specific regulation is imperative from a legal standpoint, while ethically adhering to a regulatory framework promotes transparency, accountability, and the protection of the interests of all parties involved. Lastly, there is the risk of exploitations from the both legal and ethical viewpoints. Exploiting the combination of Ar-Rahn and Al-Tawarruq from a financial gain without adhering to legal standards may lead to the legal repercussions. From an ethical perspective, such as exploitations could be considered an abuse of the principle of justice and fairness inherent in Islamic finance. So, in conclusion, the legal and ethical consideration of Ar-Rahn using Al-Tawarruq are complex and multifaceted. So, the stakeholder in Islamic finance needs to be navigated. This intricacies delegate, seeking guidance from the scholars, promoting the transparency and working towards a more consistent and universally accepted applications of this financial concept to ensure the integrity and ethical soundness of Islamic finance practice. Ar-Rahn is a traditional Islamic finance concept involve using an assets as a collateral for the security, while Al-Tawarruq is a technique where an asset is bought on a deferred payment and immediately sold at the spot price. Combining the two has sparked discussions and necessity comparative analysis in the Islamic finance community. Okay, now let we move to the conventional Ar-Rahn that using the Al-Tawarruq. They share fundamental similarities. Both entail collateralized financings using an asset to secure the transaction and address debt obligations, offering the recourse for the lender in the case of default. The primary distinctions arises in the financial technique employed. Traditional Ar-Rahn focus solely on the collateral as a security, while Ar-Rahn with Al-Tawarruq adds a step where the borrower purchases and the assets on a deferred payment and promptly sell it on the spot price to the third party. This resale aspect introduce the liquidity creations for the borrower, a unique feature absent in a conventional Ar-Rahn. However, the integrations of the Al-Tawarruq into the Ar-Rahn has arisen a legal and ethical concerns, which is the critics argue it may involve deceptions or circumventions of the Sharia principle, resembling an interest-bearing loan and also lacking tangibility in the underlying assets. Additional concerns include the potential inconsistencies in application and the risk of exploitations without adhering to the ethical principles. The legal landscape surrounding the Islamic finance varies across jurisdictions, and the combined use, the Ar-Rahn and Al-Tawarruq, may face the regulatory scrutiny. The divergent interpretations and regulatory requires could impact the permissibility of such transaction in the different regions. In the conclusion, while conventional Ar-Rahn with the Al-Tawarruq shares the foundational aspects, the integrations of Al-Tawarruq introduce notable differences, including a unique financial technique and additional legal and ethical considerations. Stakeholders in Islamic finance must navigate these complexities diligently, seeking the guidance from the scholars and ensuring the compliance with the regulatory frameworks to address the challenges associated with the combined use of the Ar-Rahn and Al-Tawarruq. I think that's all from me. So I would like pass the next task to the next presenter. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Rizky Zidan bin Muhammad Rizwan. I'm from KBA 249 to 4A. Today, I will talk about the case study of my topic, which is Ar-Rahn Al-Tawarruq. So, let's do the next slide. So, CMTFI stand out by incorporating takaful coverage, providing protection for assets against fire and burglary. Tailored for both corporate and commercial clients, it embraces a broad spectrum from domestic to international market and adhering to regulatory framework and ensuring compliance with the Islamic Bank Act. What sets CMTFI apart is its flexibility, offering both fixed and variable pricing structure. The integration of IBRA handle rate discrepancy, allowing for a potential blend of variable and fixed asset, daily and monthly rest, along with the absence of prepayment penalty, provide customer with repayment flexibility. Now, turning for the cross-border context of Islamic finance, Tawarruq emerged as a Sharia compliant alternative to the traditional loan, rooted into principles like the prohibition of riba and risk sharing. Tawarruq integrate process ensure a legitimate cash flow without resorting to interest-based loan. Ar-Rahn Al-Tawarruq as a Sharia compliant solution address challenges faced by traditional Ar-Rahn service while offering transparency and increased earning. It navigates obstacles like the need to procedure clarity, limited asset category, and meticulous documentation of community ownership. So, for the last part, in conclusion, the introduction of CMTFI and the evolution of Ar-Rahn Tawarruq exemplify the dynamic nature of Islamic finance, constantly adapting to meet the diverse needs of individual and business. However, the success and acceptance of the concept hinge on a true examination of their legal, ethical, and regulatory dimension. As we navigate this complex landscape, let us continue fostering innovation within the Islamic finance industry, ensuring its integrity and adherence to Islamic principles. That's all from me. Thank you.